Transparency, the power of truth in action. What is transparency? Transparency is the practice of openness, honesty, and accountability in actions, decision-making, and communication. It means that individuals, organizations, and leaders operate with integrity, openly share relevant information, and take responsibility for their words and choices. Transparency is the foundation of trust in relationships, businesses, governments, and communities. It ensures that people are informed, empowered, and able to make decisions based on truth rather than deception or manipulation. True transparency is not just about telling the truth when asked. It is about actively creating an environment where truth is the standard, not the exception. It requires clear communication, accessibility to information, and a willingness to be held accountable. Key indicators that transparency is lacking. When transparency is absent, certain patterns emerge in leadership, workplaces, and society. Some of the red flags that indicate a lack of transparency include withholding or manipulating information, when leaders or institutions control what information is shared, cherry-pick data, or distort facts to shape perceptions rather than reflect reality. Decisions made behind closed doors, when important choices affecting many people are made in secrecy, with little to no public accountability or input. Evasion, deflection, and blame shifting. Instead of owning mistakes, those in power deny wrongdoing, blame others, or obscure the truth to avoid consequences. Confusion and mixed messages. When there is inconsistent communication, policies that seem contradictory, or leaders who say one thing but do another, it signals hidden agendas. A culture of fear and silence. Employees, citizens, or community members are afraid to ask questions, challenge decisions, or speak out due to retaliation, job loss, or social exclusion. Lack of accountability and consequences. When unethical actions or decisions go unpunished, it encourages a cycle of dishonesty, exploitation, and corruption. These indicators show that when transparency is lacking, deception and control replace trust and collaboration. The cost of a lack of transparency. Loss of trust and credibility. The moment people feel lied to, misled, or manipulated, trust is shattered, and trust, once lost, is difficult to regain. Disempowerment and lack of autonomy. Without clear, honest information, people cannot make informed decisions, leaving them vulnerable to deception and exploitation. Corruption and ethical decline. Secrecy enables dishonest behavior, allowing those in power to act without accountability or moral responsibility. Poor decision-making and inefficiency. When information is withheld or distorted, businesses, governments, and individuals make flawed choices that lead to waste, failure, and harm. Social and workplace toxicity. Environments without transparency breed mistrust, fear, backstabbing, and dysfunction. Employees become disengaged, communities become divided, and organizations become unstable. When people or institutions hide the truth, distort facts, or manipulate perceptions, they may gain short-term advantages, but they ultimately weaken themselves and the systems they operate within. The gains of transparency. Empowerment and personal integrity. Transparency eliminates the need for fear-based deception and gives people the power to stand in their truth. Stronger relationships and trust. Whether in friendships, workplaces, or governments, honesty fosters respect, loyalty, and collaboration. Informed, independent decision-making. When people have access to real information, they can make smarter, more ethical, and well-aligned choices. Greater accountability and ethical strength. Transparency keeps power in check, ensuring that individuals and institutions act responsibly and ethically. Resilience and long-term stability. Organizations, businesses, and societies that operate transparently are far more sustainable because trust and accountability create strong foundations. Personal confidence and leadership growth. Individuals who are honest and accountable gain respect, influence, and the ability to inspire others. Transparency is not just about exposing wrongdoing. It is about building cultures of truth, strength, and accountability that create lasting success. Lying, a form of giving away our power. Most people lie not to gain power, but to avoid the unwanted consequences of speaking the truth. This is evidence that lying is an act of self-disempowerment. Fear of judgment. People lie to protect their image, which means they are controlled by the opinions of others. Fear of consequences. Many lie to escape accountability, but in doing so, they trap themselves in cycles of deception that eventually collapse. Fear of vulnerability. Some lie to avoid discomfort, but this prevents real connection and personal growth. Lying places control in the hands of others. It means that the fear of consequences dictates our choices, rather than our own moral compass. The empowerment of boldly speaking truth and owning our actions. On the other hand, transparency and truth-telling are acts of radical self-empowerment. Freedom from fear. When we own our truth, we eliminate the need to cover up, deflect, or maintain facades. Unshakable integrity. A person who speaks truthfully and takes accountability is respected, trusted, and powerful. Authentic leadership. Leaders who operate transparently inspire others to follow them, not out of fear, but out of admiration and trust. A life of clarity and purpose. When we embrace truth, our decisions, relationships, and successes are based on reality, not illusions. Transparency is not just about honesty. It is about reclaiming our power and standing boldly in our integrity. An actionable plan to put transparency into practice. Step 1. Personal commitment to truth. Self-awareness practice. Identify areas where fear leads to avoidance, dishonesty, or manipulation. Radical honesty challenge. Start speaking truthfully, even in small moments where deception feels easier. Take ownership of mistakes. Admit missteps openly rather than hiding or blaming others. Step 2. Create a culture of transparency and leadership. Clear and honest communication. Ensure that information is shared openly, not selectively or manipulatively. Invite questions and constructive criticism. Create spaces where people feel safe to challenge and seek clarity. Lead by example. Demonstrate transparency first, so others feel empowered to follow. Step 3. Establish systems of accountability. Ethical oversight in organizations. Implement checks and balances that prevent secrecy, fraud, or manipulation. Whistleblower protections. Ensure people can report concerns without fear of retaliation. Truth-based decision-making. Base choices on facts, ethics, and long-term impact, rather than short-term gain. Step 4. Teach transparency as a core value. Normalize open dialogue. Encourage honest conversations about mistakes, growth, and ethical dilemmas. Make information accessible, whether in governance, business, or education. Transparency should be the default, not the exception. Encourage integrity as a strength. Celebrate truthfulness, accountability, and ethical leadership as markers of true success. Final thought: the power of transparency. In a world built on deception, truth is revolutionary. Transparency is not a weakness. It is a strength, an act of empowerment, and a path to lasting influence. By embracing truth, accountability, and openness, we create cultures, institutions, and relationships that are stronger, more ethical, and more sustainable. The choice is clear: live in fear and illusion, or stand boldly in truth and integrity. Only one path leads to lasting success.